The UFC just announced one of the best possible welterweight fights that they could have made, and I'm pretty sure I was the first person in MMA media, as tiny as I am, to tell you simultaneously that Colby Covington was not going to take a fight with Ian Garry, and that MVP versus Ian Garry was the best fight to make. But the first video I posted on this topic was my worst performing video of all time, and the one I posted immediately after, where I focused exclusively on this topic, was one of my worst as well.
Oh, what a loser!
So I got really happy when I saw that it was being talked about seriously, and then ecstatic when they finally announced it for 303. And the reason I've been so interested in this fight and so excited for it is the fact that this should be the real first test for Ian Garry. I was hoping it was going to be Jeff Neal, but Jeff Neal just did not bring it in that fight, even though on one of the judges' scorecards he did win. But I think somebody like MVP is going to have a completely different mindset than somebody like Jeff Neal. MVP has a very clear goal to make it to the top, and whether he can actually do that or not is a subject for another day. But there's no question that he is one of the most elite, if not the most elite striker in the division. In my opinion, he is a younger, faster, and longer version of Stephen Thompson. And not that long ago, Ian Garry was calling out Stephen Thompson to see if he could beat that style. So now we should be able to find out for sure if Ian Garry is as elite in the stand-up department as all of his fans are telling us that he is. If you've followed my channel for a while, you know that I am a skeptic of Ian Garry. The fourth video that I ever posted on YouTube was all about Ian Garry and going back to his previous fights to see if I thought he lived up to the hype. And at the end of that process, I left feeling like Ian Garry is very beatable. Now, the only fight that he had after that video was made was the Jeff Neal fight. And it was pretty clear through his performance and the comments he made afterwards that his goal in that fight was just to stay safe and stay on the outside. And with a shorter and slower fighter like Jeff Neal, he was able to do that successfully. Although again, he still only won a split decision. But now he's going to be fighting a guy who is just as fast, who is just as tall, and who has longer reach. Not to mention many more years of experience in the game than Ian Garry. Michael Venom Page is not going to be intimidated by Ian. And I think he's going to be very eager to shut down the hype train and to take Ian Garry's zero. So when it comes to my early thoughts as to how this fight should play out, I feel like Michael Venom Page has the advantages in every place that matters. He's just as fast or faster, he's just as tall, and he has a 5-inch reach advantage. On top of that, I think he matches Ian Garry in the confidence department. He's also been around a lot longer and has much more experience. And the only thing that you could possibly throw at Michael Venom Page as the disadvantage in this fight is that he's 36 years old, whereas Ian Garry is almost 10 years younger. So all in all, I really believe this is Michael Venom Page's fight to lose. But with that said, he had better show up with the intention to really win this fight, because Ian Garry is very good at finding a way to get his hand raised. And if MVP comes in with a lot of flash but not a lot of substance, it's very possible that Ian Garry will steal a decision. Now, I will do a more detailed breakdown as we get closer to the fight, but let me leave you with this. The reason that I was much more excited for this fight than I was for Colby Covington was for several reasons. First of all, I didn't think it was going to be the wrestling challenge for Ian that everybody was saying it was going to be. And I did believe it would be pretty easy for Ian Garry to win on points and just stay out of range. So I actually didn't think that that fight was going to be that exciting if it happened. Outside of the build-up, of course. What I really wanted to see and was interested in was seeing Ian Garry get tested where he's considered best. And now with the making of this fight, we should get to see that. And if Ian is able to get through MVP, number one, I will have a lot harder time criticizing him going forward. But number two, that will then be the time to see if he's able to also handle an elite grappler. And if and when he gets that far, it's fair to say he'll be fighting for a title. So those are my thoughts on this. Super excited about it. Really glad to see this came together. And it is fun when something you've been calling for passionately is the way it works out. But leave your thoughts down in the comments. What do you think about this fight? Are you excited for it? And do you think it's the right test for Ian Garry at this time? That's going to be it for today. I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.